This is Valley News Live at 10.
This only happens in this country and nowhere else. Nowhere else do little kids go to school thinking that they might be shot that day.
Tonight, once again, the nation is in mourning after a school shooting. This one the deadliest since Sandy Hook. 18 students and 3 adults were killed at an elementary school in Texas. Police say the suspected shooter, an 18-year-old, is also dead, killed by police. Jason Allen has the latest.
An army of local and federal authorities converged on Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas this afternoon. Police say an 18-year-old gunman went on a shooting rampage, killing at least 18 children. President Biden addressed the tragedy from the White House tonight.
There's a lot we don't know yet. There's a lot we do know. The parents who will never see their child again, never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them. Parents who will never be the same. To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away.
The Texas governor identified the shooter as Salvador Ramos. He's from the area and died at the scene.
It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle.
Local officials say the gunman also injured several others, including students and adults. 2 officers responding to the scene were hit by gunfire.
Families are being notified, and we are providing services to them. We do want to keep all their families in their prayers. I hope you do as well.
The local civic center is now a reunification center for parents and their children. About 600 students attend Robb Elementary. Their school year was set to end Thursday.
President Biden has ordered that flags be lowered to half-staff to honor the victims.
Also tonight, in an interview with CNN, State Senator Roland Gutierrez says the shooter was born in North Dakota, though he most recently lived and went to high school in Uvalde. We're still working to confirm that information.
Now to continuing coverage on last week's shooting inside a popular Fargo restaurant. The family of Lucia Garcia says on their fundraising page the 21-year-old mother suffered significant brain damage and doctors aren't giving the family much hope for her recovery. They say her 7-month-old son Dominique suffered gunshot wounds to his thigh, side and hand, but he is expected to make a full recovery. Police say the 2 were shot inside the restaurant by the boy's father last Wednesday. They say he died later that night of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Well, let's switch gears now and talk about some brighter news. And it is still a little bit bright outside, even after 10 o'clock. First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson has the details. Hutch.
Justin, thanks so much. Yes, as we approach that longest day of daylight hours of the season, hours of daylight are just impressive out there. And we got a tower cam time lapse from our location here in South Fargo of those gorgeous skies tonight. Temperatures are still very pleasant as we head into the evening hours, and as we look around, Grand Forks also seeing that twilight. 54 in Fargo, 61 in Thief River and Grand Forks this hour, 55 for Jamestown and Wadena, also in those mid-50s. We do have some rain showers now pushing their way into southernmost Minnesota. This system is on its way northward, and as it does, it's going to cool us down. And for some, we'll have a chance of some showers of rain in your forecast for tomorrow. But tonight's looking quiet, and for that, it also looks dry. Temperatures will be sneaking down into the 40s now as we head to bed tonight, and we won't get too low as those clouds from that storm system will be on the increase as we head into the morning hours. We'll see some clouds also make their way up to Grand Forks by daybreak, and temperatures will be in the upper 40s there. That's how we start out your Wednesday. We'll have details on a little bit of an update to your forecast for who gets wet on Wednesday. And we'll talk about a nice warm-up here in just a couple of moments.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
Grand Forks police say they discovered a dead body today after responding to the call of an unresponsive male in the 1200 block of North 39th Street in Grand Forks today. That man's name has not been released, but authorities say it appears the death was not a result of a medical problem or natural causes. As detectives investigate, anyone with information is encouraged to contact Grand Forks police or use the TIP 411 app.
A 44-year-old man accused of killing his own 5-year-old foster child on the Spirit Lake Reservation is requesting to withdraw his guilty plea. Prosecutors say Eric Longy Jr.'s foster child was found dead in the basement of his home back in May of 2020.
Eric and his wife Tammy Longi pleaded guilty to murder, child abuse, and child neglect, but now Eric Longi says he's innocent. Says he felt his attorney was disgusted with him due to the nature of the case and forced him to take a plea deal. A federal judge is considering Longi's request. Also out of Spirit Lake, the FBI says it is investigating a shooting Sunday night that sent one man to the hospital. They have not released the victim's condition. They have not said if anyone was arrested. The Bureau of Indian Affairs is also investigating. However, the FBI says there is no threat to the public.
New tonight, what do you do if your kids need to get somewhere but you can't take them? Some parents have started calling them an Uber or a Lyft ride.
Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor talked to a local rideshare driver about why this may not be such a good idea.
Corey Eslinger, an Uber driver, says he has received a few requests from parents to drive their kids to places like school and other activities.
A lot of times it was the 14, 15, 16-year-olds.
As a father himself, he says he understands the struggle of getting kids around town.
How much of a hassle it was to get them back and forth from doing things. Work, different events, school events.
But he warns against it. Actually, he says under the terms and conditions for both Uber and Lyft, anyone under the age of 18 isn't allowed to ride alone. We posed a question on our Facebook page to find out if other drivers were having the same experience. One driver says she received a request to pick up a 7-year-old and an infant. Eslinger says for both the driver and passenger, there are risks associated with accepting these kinds of ride requests. He says not only is there the chance for the minor to get into the wrong vehicle, but also the driver could be at fault if an accident happens.
That would put them at greater risk if they would get in an accident, that Uber and Lyft wouldn't cover the additional damages or even their own insurance.
Eslinger recommends that drivers use their discretion and to reject requests to drive unaccompanied minors.
It's really not worth it.
In Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
The city of Crookston and the Minnesota DOT are looking for your input on making improvements to the Highway 2 corridor. This comes after a 10-year-old girl's leg had to be amputated after being hit by a semi in the area of Broadway at Robert Street last October. At an open house tonight, they look to evaluate conditions and potential improvements along Highway 2 in downtown Crookston, as well as look at the future needs of the highway and ensure the safety of people walking, biking, and driving.
New information on a missing teen out of Jamestown. Police in Redwood Falls, Minnesota say they've received reports 17-year-old Jasmine Rudlin may be in that area. She hasn't been seen since last Wednesday afternoon. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Redwood Falls Police Department at 507-637-4005.
Builders and contractors have been dealing with supply shortages of things like lumber, windows, and doors for a while now, and they say you can now add power to that list. Cass County Electric, several parts and products now have wait times of more than a year.
Oh, it's definitely frustrating. I've not seen it across the board like this. I've seen delays, many delays, but not like 25 items.
Contractors add they don't expect the supply chain to recover until the later part of 2023, if not 2024.
New tonight, Fargo police say they've received several reports involving kids shooting toy guns, the things that shoot small gel bullets or pellets, foam bullets, other small projectiles. They say normally these toy guns are relatively harmless, but they can cause injury if a person's hit either at a high speed or in a sensitive area like the eyes. They had toy guns can look very similar to real ones that can cause fear or panic. Fargo PD says it's important for kids to understand the potential dangers of this new trend as well as the legal ramifications.
Now to a Valley News Live investigation. A week after we first reported to you that many people in the Fargo-Moorhead area have reported getting some bad gasoline from several area holiday gas stations, more and more people are still coming forward with the same report. Christy Nelson of Fargo says she's yet another victim of receiving a bad batch of gasoline from a holiday station here in Fargo. She says late last month her car started acting up after she pumped gas at a holiday off University Drive and First Avenue North. She's one of at least a dozen whistleblowers who have come forward with the same claim.
Right away I noticed it was sputtering and weird, and I just kind of played it off. And then it took me a little bit to figure it out. And then later that night at my daughter's, she saw on Facebook that people were getting bad gas from there. And I'm like, That's what's wrong. That is what's wrong.
Nelson's
one of 5 official complaints. They were sent to the Consumer Protection Division, North Dakota AG's office. We've reached out to Holiday's corporate several times and have yet to hear back. Still ahead.